Alrighty. Well, here I am in the laundry. I've got all this finished. I might be going to get a bit of timber to do a few bits and bobs. If I haven't already. I'm probably going to be really late with these uploads because I'm trying to beat the weather to do things like put new roof in before I'm drowned in rain. And yeah, we managed to get all this done without a problem. I just need to get, I had a look, I got some very, very dismal little discs for the 3-inch grinder, and it's not even going to be worth starting. I'm going to wait till I get a 9-inch disc, probably tomorrow, for the grinder, so I can cut these off, probably where the end of that is, just to try and get them in line with all this. There's other crap down here. Anyway, just watching a guy who I sometimes watch, and I haven't seen him for like months. He's a Jewish Russian who was born in Moscow, and as the Soviet Union was collapsing, he moved over, of course, with his parents, because he's only about 10 years old at the time, to United States. Anyway, interestingly enough, just like I saw a mushroom grower the other day say, he doesn't have any neighbours, is disgruntled, and he's got this channel on his mushroom farm, and I mean it's fairly substantial. He manages to use plastic and bits and pieces, wire and bricks and everything. He actually grows them outside on a fairly large scale, and it's like he's making money off of this, because he's a mushroom farmer, and he had the FBI approach him about making videos on mushroom growing. There's quite a few YouTube channels on that have been taken down, which reminds me, apparently one of my workmate of mine saw a mushroom video of mine that I put up, and not really much information, not that great, and he said there's 30,000 views on it. I could barely bloody believe it. Anyway, this FBI agent or two had a go at this guy getting all snitchy about mushroom questions because, oh, you might be growing, magic mushrooms for hallucinogens. And he said, bloody cops, they try and pin shit on people sometimes on the basis that they just want a damn promotion, so they've just about stitched someone up over it, over bullshit. And he said it's very good if you got cameras. They actually questioned him why he had security cameras on his house, and you must be doing something illegal if you got security cameras on your house. Oh, fuck off. Unbelievable. Anyway, how many people have security cameras on the damn house, Anyway, long and short of it is, he says, you want to just about be live streaming your conversation with the cop, because he said they'll take your phone off you and they'll, what the recorded conversation. And of course, this guy, this Russian Jew, he recorded a phone conversation that a cop had. Now, I don't know if the cop was talking on the phone to him or the cop was talking on the phone to someone else, but he damn near got jail over that. This guy isn't some pointless bum. He's about my age, and maybe a year or two younger. He owns numerous rental properties, and after this one blowout with this Californian cop, he said, fuck this place, and he's moved back to Moscow, where he grew up as a kid. Interesting, he's talking about sort of just that California versus Moscow. He said everything's sort of, there's just that nasty edge of capitalism, that keeping up with the Joneses, that competition, that I've got to be better than you type mentality. where, you know, it's just like there's that arrogant, toxic, narcissistic competition, everybody trying to outrun everybody just for their own ego, and, you know, people judging each other based on what their job is and all this sort of shit. And he said in Russia, people are just living their life and mind their own business. And he's walking down the street and he said, you know, if I was walking down the street, and some of you may know a certain person who walks down the street and videos what's down the street, sometimes people say, why are you videoing me? I don't want to be on you, this, that, blah, blah, get a bit shitty. And the camera will be facing her, and yet, oh, this person is shitty that, you know, the cameras might be recording them, blah, 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 all this sort of bullshit. And he said in Russia, he said, no one gives a fuck if I'm walking down the street with a selfie stick, recording myself. If I'm not causing anyone any shit, no one's ringing the cops on me because I'm walking past the street once or twice with a selfie stick, recording myself. No one gives a shit. You know, nobody's up each other's ass or on each other's case, henpecking the shit out of each other, aggravating it. There's just not that sort of a, you know, everybody in competition in that sort of a toxic manner, in that sort of a, I'm going to sue you type manner. You know, the United States has some of, or at least the saying used to go back in the 90s, that have some of the most, you know, largest amount of people suing other people. It's sort of interesting though, but it reminds me of some of the things I've seen here, and I'm going to talk about somebody who shall remain nameless, and none of you, almost none at all, will know who this person is. But it's somebody that I know, and they know me, and my sister knows them as well. And we see them from time to time, and they live in the capital. And I just sort of thought about what this guy was saying versus their lifestyle in the capital. And, you know, what this Russian guy was saying, and then it just sort of, all that sort of a competitive, keeping up with the Joneses shit, you know, I sort of thought about this other person. With this other person, it's probably more consumerist, I'd say. And a lot of you know that as much as I like going down to one place or the other and getting a few bits and bobs, I really can see that consumerism is just at the rot of this disposable, throwaway shit world where you buy everything. Everything you buy, they use a decent amount of materials to make a shit product that only lasts bugger all worth of jack shit. And you got it, and you got to get more. But half the reason you're getting more is because half of this stuff is Chinese shit. You know, I realise that consumerism, as far as I'm concerned, is the rotten end of capitalism. It's the end of capitalism that it doesn't grow. It just consumes. It doesn't do anything. It's just, it's like a car idling for 5 hours. Didn't do a fucking thing. It just wasted a lot of shit that it didn't need to waste. And you know, a lot of resources. Oil in that case, but I'm talking about other things, oil, you know, making plastics, steel, you know, like all these cheap friggin' drills and shit, you know, that die after 2 weeks, you know. But I'm thinking more, not so much power tools, not so much my genre, but the higher end genre of, the high end of town. And it was interesting, this person, I talked to them a number of years ago, and you know, they've never said how much they're on, but I just about guarantee you it's double what I was on. I bloody near guarantee it was close to double anyway. Long and short of it is, I remember talking to them a few years ago, and they said they were sick of the job. And, basically so it turned out that there was a few people in their department that were sort of hanging around friends together, and she wasn't really in that group of friends in that department, whatever. But, also she'd been doing this job for a while. She's getting a bit sick of it. And I said to her, well, why don't you just leave? I knew she was renting, but I didn't think it'd be a great deal of money. I knew she's on a, fucking huge wage. And I thought, well, she's got to have money set away, I was thinking, like, it's the capital, You throw a job in there, you got to know, like, fuck, I started looking for jobs. I stopped looking for jobs around this area because I knew it was shit. I spent months around here and another small city, and it was just, I get nowhere. In the end, the welfare office bared its teeth like an angry wolf, and I had to start making a move real quick. And within 3 days, I had a job in the capital. I mean, I was lined up to go to this job, and to get interviewed and everything. Bingo! 3 days. 3 days worth of looking, and I actually hit on 2 different jobs. And I knocked one back because I started one on the same day as the interview as the other one, and I just rang them up the day before and said I'm not coming in for the interview. But and I just said, oh, they'll be fine. Have a bit of a break, sit it out for a week or two, then start looking for a job after a couple of weeks. They turned around and said to me they could not afford to have 2 weeks off. They had to go straight out of one job into the next. And I'm like, holy shit, how much money you're on it? And where's all this fucking money going? I knew they were paying rent. But see, they weren't paying rent in the cheaper end of town. True to form, as so many of these consumeristic types, you could probably guess what sort of genre I'm talking about. True to form, just like that gentrification that happens in the United States, they were living in one of the same suburbs of all the same people as the social group as they. Very centralised place, but I'm not joking, the bloody joint wasn't a great deal newer than this place. Now, this place was probably built in the 1850s, was moved here in 1897. Their stuff, probably 1890s. They were living in something built in the 1890s. And it was a jam, tiny little fucking shit of a joint, and they were paying quite a bit of dough. And you know what? It didn't have a fucking laundry. They're forking out the big coin. They're on the street that everybody knows the name of, but it's a bloody big long street, but everybody knows the name of it, because it's that area. That gentrification of all, your soy mocha decaf latte types, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have they didn't even have a room. I've got a third of this is laundry, They didn't even have they didn't even have this for a laundry. They just had no laundry. It was just a toilet and a little bath with a shower above the bath. What the fuck? That's all they had. That's all they had to show for it. Time rolled on more recently, and by more recently, maybe a year ago, they've got themselves a car. After 10 years of not having a car but being on big wages, they got a car. On and on and on and on. Time's gone on. You think about buying an apartment. What about a flat? You got to start thinking now. The years are ticking on. They're older than me. Years are ticking on. You might want to think about, buying a place. Even if you don't intend to keep it for the rest of your life, at least, start paying a mortgage so you're not going to be still paying a mortgage when you're retired, And, I got another joint, this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's actually brand new, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, thank God. She's getting the shit sorted. She's got a new place. Good for her. Ain't going to fall down if it's just brand new built. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But the neighbours come over to, say, how you going, and meet me and all this, and we come in for a few glasses of wine or whatever. and they pulled the chair out, and it didn't have those little felt bits on the bottom of the chair foot and all that, and it left a mark in the coating on the floorboards. I know what it is. That would be called polyurethane, because polyurethane takes at least a week, at least, to harden. They put a scratch in it, but I'm worried that the landlord might see it, so I've got to get a rug to put over where the scratch is in the friggin' hallway, or where the hell it was. I think it was the hallway. Maybe it wasn't a chair that made the scratch. Who gives a shit? Anyway, then we realised, what? So the landlord, oh shit, you're joking. We sat there the whole hour or two thinking she'd bought a new place, only to find out near the end that, no, she actually hadn't. Well, now, she finally has got a place. And I saw her again, probably 9 months ago or something. And we're all in a particular joint, you know. And then we're all ordering meals, you know, because it's a get-together and blah, blah. So we're all ordering meals. And her and the boyfriend this time sat there the whole several hours, the whole 2-3 hours, didn't order anything. I don't even think they got a beer, to be honest. I know we're full, we had plenty of stuff, we're full, we had a... What is this, for real? We sat there for 3 hours. Everyone else is eating. They're sitting there not eating. I thought, my God, you're telling me that you're out of money for the... Yep, they're out of money for the week. My sister said to me a day or two later, yeah, I've actually seen all this before. They are so busy keeping up with the lifestyle that they don't have anything to show. And thank God they've got a partially paid off mortgage and a car, and I hope, you know, the car was not under finance, but it probably bloody was. And they got nothing to show for it. They're earning double what I've got, and they got nothing to show for it. To the point that they don't actually have enough money for a $25, $20 meal, you know, equivalent to about $15 they can't fork out. And they sit there for 2.5, 3 hours, didn't even buy a beer. You think, my gosh. And my sister just said, I've seen this before, because she's lived in the capital. They're so busy keeping up with a lifestyle that their money is just squandered on the damn lifestyle. So when the paycheck comes through, we can buy soy decaf mocha lattes with our friends every lunchtime, but you know, waiting for the next paycheck. We get paid weekly in here in Australia, that's generally it. One or two places, one or two may pay fortnightly, but mostly speaking, they pay weekly over here. Monthly is very few places that will pay you monthly. And I just sat there thinking, holy smoke. How the fuck am I on half the wage? And admittedly, I don't pay rent. But here I am looking down the barrel of getting car number 3. And I've still got cash to spare. There's going to be no finances in this thing. Just go buy it. Just go buy it. Like that. Not a problem. Not a... got to go and approve it with the... Fuck all that. You know. I don't need that. Because I don't need to do that. I'm not bragging that I'm better. You look at how the fuck does someone make double the money? I come into work, I go out of work for a couple of months, whatever. In for another year and back out again. It doesn't fucking matter if I'm in work or out of work because I've always got cash. I've always got cash, you know, and it's always been like that. Not all the time, but you know, plenty of other years I've fallen back on to welfare, but. Basically, I had such a fucking gut full of welfare by... When did it happen? When did it happen? When I come out of the nursery. Yes. Yes. By What are you talking about? October. I think the last I started driving trucks, October 2009, and I tried to stay off welfare a long time, and then I ended up, before I started the paint warehouse, I was on welfare then, and that's the last time I've been on welfare, so not for a few years now, but, you know, down the capital, earning money consistently, you know, and I look at me, and I've had time off, and I'm having time off now, and I look at them, they haven't had, like, anything except their prescribed fucking holidays for, like, more than 10 years. I'm talking like 12 years or more. They've only ever had their prescribed. They haven't been out of work for more than 12 years. You know? Why? Can't afford to. What the fuck are you talking about? You're making double than what I make, you know. Oh, no, I know the rent's not cheap, but fuck, it can't eat your savings that quick. My gosh. You know, I still had to pay $43,000 off of this place, you know, I still had to pay it. Found that money, no worries, you know. But it's just remarkable how they can just piss so much through their fucking fingers. It's like, my God, if I sat down with a calculator and we calculated this out, you'd be in fucking tears at how much you wasted on kale salads, music concert, boutique beers, going to fancy, trendy, fucking ridiculous shit, and fucking soy mocha decaf lattes. And, you know, fancy, organic-y, this and that. You know, fuck me. Like, I'm not joking when I say there's quite a chance that they spent in excess of $700 US a fucking week. $700 US a week on this shit. Where the fuck is all this going? My God. I would need my wood heater to go through money that quick. I'd have that many fucking extra cars you couldn't even move for the fucking vehicles. You know. I don't know how to go through this shit. I really don't. How can you do that to yourself and then sit there and say, oh, you know, well, I've been in this job for fucking 8 years now. I'm sick to death of it. Yeah, but what? At that point, they didn't have anything to show for it. They'd been in like 7 years, 8 years. They had nothing to show for it. And they couldn't even afford 2 or 3 weeks without rent. What? Up to 7 or 8 years? Are you fucking smoking? What are you doing? Are you smoking meth or something? Is it going into cocaine habit? My God, what is wrong with these people? Apparently I'm the dickhead. They even made a snide remark about me. Must be a meth head because I'm a Trump supporter. Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, I see other people, like myself in the States, who you know, live off-grid, who live frugally, people who live in vans, you know. And a lot of these people, you know, they don't have to run to that lifestyle. They've got a choice to, you know, be a bit like me, not work all the time, because you don't have to, you know. But oh, there they are. No, I am not doing anything except living on the best street in the best suburb, and you wake up 8 years later and you got fucking nothing to show for it. I mean, it would be cheaper to have a cocaine habit or a meth habit. It really would be. Anyway, it's just my little spasticated rant, because sometimes you can't believe what you see right around you, and every time people cry poor, you feel like going, oh, fucking wake up. You know, the biggest cause of all the problems in your life, quite often, I'm not saying always, yeah, sometimes the biggest problem in your life can be a divorce, and that really does fuck guys up. You know, many women have nothing to lose, most guys have everything to lose by a divorce, but sometimes the biggest problems in your life, really, can be caused by yourself. Yeah. Think about that one.